G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the game between Geelong and the Western Bulldogs, and it was the Bulldogs by 47 points at the Cattery in what was a pretty disappointing night, and that's putting it pretty lightly, I must say. Might do a refresh there, see if we can get a bit of a scoreline going. Take two. Alright, that is working. Not that it really matters, but yeah, got touched up big time. Tough game at home. We've won 17 of the last 22 against the Dogs. They're our bunnies, but not tonight, where they probably play the best game they've played since the 2021 prelim final. And then probably prior to that, the 2016 grand final. But I don't know how much of that was them being really good or us just being really timid. Probably the latter, I think, more so for what we allowed the Dogs to do. And they clearly play the conditions, far better than we did. It's a bit like that around the competition at the moment, where if you're slightly off, you get found out pretty badly. And, we certainly didn't come to play. At least it didn't feel like it, watching throughout, and the Dogs were switched on. Plenty to play for, and you get what you deserve at the end of the day, and it's a pretty ugly result for the Cats, who, it's not really much of a fortress at the moment down at the Cattery, where it's been a bit 50-50 of late, which is definitely unusual, but I think more of a sign of where Geelong are at, but also the competition's never been, even. You just have to have a look at the ladder. But yeah, it was a tough watch as well, just because it was a pretty miserable sort of game already with the conditions. But then, we just had no spark about us. We were fumbly. We didn't use the ball very well. We kept turning it over to the Bulldogs, which was really frustrating. We were losing contests basically between the arcs. We were losing contests everywhere, really. We were outplayed, we were out-hunted, we were outworked quite significantly, and that shows on the scoreboard. And whilst it's a 47-point margin, could have easily been 11, 12 goals had the Dogs hit a bit straighter. But the bottom line is the Dogs had 30 scoring shots and we had 13. So, it'd be one of our more disappointing performances at home. I know it doesn't take much to be off, and if the opposition's slightly on and you give them a sniff, that it gets the confidence up and about, and then it's really hard to come back from that. Outside of a little bit of a burst in that third term, probably the most frustrating bit of the game was we just never really looked in the game, which is disappointing in a general sense, but even more so when you're playing at home in front of your home crowd, and there was a fair few that turned out for the game. But even though when we kicked 5 goals, 1 in that term, they kicked 4 goals, 5 their way, so we were never ever able to stop the ball. Sort of when they went forward, they were always looking pretty promising, and 95 points in the wet. It's pretty pretty poor defensively. It's tough to know where it leaves us. Like, when you lose these games, you go back and go, oh, let's really analyse these wins that we have had. So, I mean, the Bombers win, we played well in the second half, got a good result, got on a run. Bombers haven't been going that well. They lost to the Crows on Friday night at their home deck, at the Bombers' home deck. Got one back on them. And then, we beat Hawthorn by, I think it was 51 points or something like that at home. So, that was a good win, considering their form. And then, beat the Pies by 20. Hawks demolished them by 11 goals, which is just, unprecedented. So, Pies aren't going well. Bombers aren't going well. Hawks aren't going well. And then, the Doggies, they did defeat the Blues, so that was a pretty good win. So now the Dogs all of a sudden look like playing some top 4 footy, but they're inconsistent. There's a lot of teams that their best is really good, but they just can't bring it every single week. And when there's so many teams fighting for that position in the 8, you just find yourself at the wrong end of it sometimes. And Geelong were a bit off. Dogs were hot, and taught us a lesson really. Around the ball, they just kept moving it forward, but every time we did, the Dogs, I keep hearing every week, every footy show every week is just the Dogs can't defend, or that they can't sorted out from the back line. They were the worst transition team from the back line, or worst intercept team, and then they just intercept everything we did. So it was just like, so frustrating. We kept kicking the ball to them. We were under pressure. We didn't compete, though, up forward, I felt. And, yeah, I don't want to individualise, but I will a bit later on as we get to that. But by and large, yeah, pretty poor. Competing for the ball, no Shannon Neal in the side, and he might have helped a bit despite the conditions. So, yeah, and we had the smallest forward line. We took in a really small side, and then the Dogs tore us apart. So that's another thing that just pisses me off and makes me want to punch a wall in. So, yeah, that we tried to plan for it, and it just didn't work. So, yeah, pretty frustrating. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk the philosophical stuff later on, but of what it all means, which is all part of these reviews, I guess. It's never as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems, although last night was pretty ordinary. All right, let's go through the numbers. So that was a bit of an general overview of the game. We'll get stuck into some stats, and then player stats after that, some votes. We'll get stuck into what it looks like next week, and then, yeah, a bit more of a philosophical overview of it. Doggies plus 60 with the ball. Had stacks of supply inside 50. We just couldn't not get near it because we weren't able to get field position. If you can't get field position, you're not going to get inside 50s. That's how the world works. Probably just about the lowest disposal efficiency I think I've ever seen for two sides there. Clearly the conditions playing their part, but yeah, we were very poor with the ball and didn't handle the conditions very well. Efficiency inside 50, Doggies more efficient in that camp, also had more shots and more good looks at it. Clearances are even, which is pretty unbelievable, but I would suspect that their clearances and their looks were much better than ours. Stoppage clearances, we usually lose those and we usually win the centre clearances, but yeah, we got torched in the centre clearance and that showed. Defending from the back half was tough. Plus 17 in contested ball for the Dogs, and yeah, just dominate on the outside. And that was one thing I noticed throughout the game is we'd be constantly pressured. Like the second we get the ball, 3 or 4 Dogs all over us. The moment that the Dogs got 1 or 2 handballs out, they were out and gone, and there was no more pressure. So yeah, it was all in from the work from inside the contest, and then just inability to win contests forward of the ball, and clearly behind the ball because we lost by 47 points. Plenty more turnovers. Doggies' pressure was really good. I'd love to see the pressure rating that they did have. I'd suspect to be about 220 or thereabouts for most of the game. But yeah, they're a pretty emotional side, kind of like us, I guess. They're really good at having an emotional response, but keeping a regular cadence of winning and form seems to be their trouble, which we'll wait and see. They probably won't win next week. We've got a tough game coming up. 20 marks more to the Dogs. Marks inside 50 was, we just could not get anyone up forward to get it done. Norton, Ugelhagen, Darcy just tore us up forward, which, 90 times out of 100, you played 3 key tools, you just get burnt, but of course it doesn't this time. Doggies, in front of the whole game, never really challenged, out-tackled us as well, so they well and truly outworked us from start to finish, and the numbers show that as well. The tackles inside 50 were crazy on the Dogs, so they were doing a lot of work, and they tend to do well statistically, but not always make it all happen on the scoreboard, but they did tonight. Guess we'll have a look at the votes, players, which are, it's always tough when you lose badly. But I thought Stewart was probably the standout for us. He kicked a goal, had 26, 8 marks, 5 tackles, 7 clearances, almost 600 metres gained. So, really liked his performance. I felt throughout he was pretty strong. Still has a few missed kicks, I must say. But, again, in terms of standout player, I'd say Stewie. I'm going to give Max Holmes the 2 votes. He had the 23 touches, 7 marks, and also had a tackle, 5 clearances. He was really lively early and then got out of the game a little bit. Came back into it throughout, so that was good. But, in terms of his output, I really liked it. And the 1 vote to Shawnee Manor, so he had the 19, 8 tackles, 8 clearances, and also goal assist. So, he was a bull inside the contest. and set up a nice goal for Stengel in that, I think it was second term. And that's all for the votes. So, yeah, Mitchie Duncan I thought was good. Sam DK had 23 marks, 3 tackles, 31 hitouts, 4 clearances, also had a goal assist. Played all right, I felt. He was good. English was also okay. Mitchie D had 22, 8 marks, 3 tackles, also had a clearance. I thought, yeah, he was definitely mucking in quite hard, and when we've been challenged, I felt like he's stood up, in some of those games where we've been a bit down and out. And Paddy was good. He had a goal, also 17, 6 tackles, 5 clearances. It was a bit of Paddy or nobody at some stage. He was playing a little bit half forward as well. It was a solid game from him. It wasn't the best game he's ever played, but yeah, we'll take it. Blitz had 14, couple of points, missed a few, 2 marks, 11 hitouts, 6 tackles, 2 clearances. Yeah, we know he cracks in each and every week. Zach Guthrie had 19, had the 5 marks, 2 tackles and a clearance. Might have been him on Waitman, and I don't think Waitman tore us apart. He might have kicked, 1 or 2. I felt throughout the night, yeah, he was relatively solid. He touched the ball, which we like. Tui was okay. He had the 20, 4 marks, 2 tackles, 2 clearances, 400 metres gained. So, yeah, Tui played well, did his role nicely. And did what he could for the side. Jackie Bowes had their 18 disposals, 2 marks, 6 tackles, 2 clearances. Yeah, unfortunately just not enough out of the midfield, and not our worst player, but definitely, yeah, when you look at Libba's numbers, Treloar's numbers, and Bont's numbers, we were taught a lesson in there. Koa had 15, 7 marks, 3 tackles, 2 clearances. Solid down back, lots of supply. Tough night for the defenders. Bradley Close, I thought he worked hard. He kicked a goal, had the 11 disposals, had 2 marks, 7 tackles, clearance as well. He definitely lifted, and it was good to see. I like what he does. Over to Jack Henry, had 11 possessions, 5 marks, 4 tackles. Yeah, again, just makes some shocking decisions. Can't kick very well, and just gets beaten so easily, and doesn't, man up properly. The amount of marks that opposition forwards take on him is catastrophic. I don't know what you have to do to get dropped, or and just because you go back to the VFL does not mean you're stuck there forever. Again, really tough night for the defenders, but I've been saying for weeks, Henry's hasn't been playing that well, and anyway. I love his best, but yeah, clearly he's been out of form this year, and he's still getting played. So I don't know, give O'Sullivan a go or something like that. Mix it up, or make him earn his spot back, or get him some confidence. Whatever you need to do, but yeah, a lot of it stops with Jack Henry. Brian Myers had the 15, 3 marks, tackle, clearance, and goal assist. Probably speaks to the form he's had over the last 18 months. He's been phenomenal over the last sort of 18 months. But yeah, had a pretty down night, and a fair few players were off, and unfortunately Grind didn't have his best night, wasn't able to get involved as well as he would have liked. Humphries was okay for us. He had the 13, loves a kick there, 12 of them were kicks, 3 marks, clearance as well. Yeah, it was a solid night. He had a crack, a couple of mistakes, but I think he'll be a really good player in the future for us. Stengel was pretty quiet. He had the 12 disposals to go along with his goal, had 2 marks, a tackle and a clearance. Just, again, couldn't quite get into it. Wasn't able to, make the doggies pay full price with our supply we did have forward, which was quite minimal. Mitch Nevitt was relatively quiet as well. He had the 7 disposals, 2 marks. Cracked in with some tackles there. So tough night for Mitch. Hopefully, we can get some better form into him. Go Rowan, had the 10 disposals, 4 marks, tackle. Also did a bit of ruck work inside forward 50. Just wasn't able to, impact as well as he usually could. Ollie Henry kicked a goal. Nice one from 48, but outside of that, not much. He had the 5 touches, 3 tackles, a mark. Just wasn't able to, get involved. Jezza kicked 1 goal, 6 disposals, mark, 3 tackles, goal assist. Played 100% game time. He was awful. And I don't like to say that. Sometimes it feels like he's going to be best on ground, and if he's not best on ground, he's kind of worst on ground. So, Rory Lobb gave him an absolute bath. So that's not to say that the supply wasn't great, but Jezza, mate, do not get outmarked the way you get outmarked. You don't have to take Wayne Carey marks every week, but seriously, you've got the C grade of Rory Lobb tearing up you're an A grader, you're one of the best players in the competition. Start playing like it and actually have a crack. Like, just because it's not your night, you don't, and you get stuck in your head and go, oh, it's not my night, so I won't try. It's like, mate, you're better than that. You are so much better than that, and it's so frustrating when you've got C grade players giving you an absolute bath. Be better, man. Be better. Just compete. Do what Shannon Neal does. Have a crack at it, son. Nothing kills me more than absolute bogus, dopey intercept defenders take the easiest marks because blokes aren't working hard enough. Nothing hurts me more than that. So be better. Be better. Seriously. Ted Closey had 6 disposals for the night. Took a mark, 3 tackles and a clearance. Good to see him, and I love how we go Brendan Parfitt, and I'll look at their numbers. We'll get to Parfitt shortly. But yeah, he looked good. He looked lively. He had a crack. Had a chance, shot on goal, missed it. But like what he did with the time on ground he did have. Dempsey was super quiet. He kicked 1, 5 touches, 3 tackles, a clearance, a goal assist. So yeah, a lot of what I'm seeing here is just off the back of not being able to win contest in that mid-zone to D50 section. And yeah, just the flow-on effect is crazy. Like what you see at Myers' numbers, we see Dempsey's numbers, and I'm giving Cameron an absolute bake there, but Cameron did have some chances to win some contests, and he kicked a nice goal at the back, but yeah, like outside of that, very poor. Then we finish off with Parfitt. Don't know why we keep going back to the well. Don't know why we keep pulling this move. He's like a lock to play the Dogs every year, just like Ted Closey is when he played them last year. 6 touches, 2 tackles, a clearance, 10 metres gained from 40% game time. What are we doing? We've got Mitch Hardy, who's tearing it up in the VFL. We don't know what he looks like at AFL level. We know what Parfitt can do. Have a crack at giving Hardy a go, and they're probably never going to give him a go. He's just going to be Charlie Constable 2.0. But get out of just going back to the same old reliable guys. You have to, you just have to give the guys a crack. And you know Parfitt's limitations. So, and I've said nearly every time he's played, he had a solid start to the year this year. And he had a solid game against the Doggies late last year. So they just go, oh, he got 33 touches last year, so it might work again. And, well, yeah, you get what you deserve at the end of the day. All right, so over to next week. And it's almost impossible to predict because even a couple of games of footy, a week's a long time footy. We've got North Melbourne over at Blundstone Arena. So in Tassie there. Will be a tough trip. Won't be anything like we saw in 2022. It's going to be a tricky game, no doubt about that. I still think we're a better side and should win. But I mean, if we play anything like we did against the Dogs, well, we're not going to win. But again, we had 3 games of pretty good form. You can't really predict just because you win 3 in a row means you're just going to keep rolling on. But I suspect we'll win there. But yeah, it's a banana peel game in the waiting. All right, let's get back to the Cats and Dogs. So it's Dogs by 47. Where does it leave us? I mean, after you win, you feel all right. When you lose, it feels like the end of the world. I'm just rolling with the punches and just going to be in the mindset of every team is going through this. That is not Sydney, I guess, but even then they've lost to Brisbane today. Every team's going to go through patches. We've probably had a few more patches than we'd like to have. Teams are just going to go through this, and it's going to be tough. And if you make a charge and find yourself sitting in the top 8 going into September, maybe this might be your chance. Because this year it'll be definitely, the most even it's ever been, assuming it continues, which I suspect it will. So again, I'm not going top 4's over, season's over, or anything like that. I've already made the claim of season over already too early, but we're a solid side. We played, we had a pretty poor performance on the night, and our best footy when played on our terms, was pretty hard to beat, but it just wasn't on show tonight. For the Saturday night game also. So it's just gonna be wait and see how we go the next couple of weeks, and try and get some form going, and just keep getting a couple of wins on the board. Probably need another 2 or 3 wins just to solidify a spot in the 8. So by no means guaranteed to make finals by any stretch with how this year's panning out. Still a long way to play out, but we'll see how it all goes. All right, guys, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe away. Comment your thoughts on the game, Cats fans as well. Interested to see what you think about the game and about our aspirations for season 2024. But that's all from me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.